Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 64 of Superannuated Starman. I'm your host, Sean Ryan, and today I'll be joined, as always, by Chris Duerksen
As always.
and Cory Braucks.
Reluctantly.
Today's episode, we're going to be discussing our memories of a cult classic on the original Nintendo, the NES, and that is Little Nemo, the Dream Master. This was a favorite of mine as a kid, so sit back and enjoy some music from this great game. Little Nemo, the Dream Master is a 1990 platformer developed and published by Capcom for the NES, but the origin of the character goes much, much deeper. The game itself is actually based on a Japanese full-length animated feature film simply called Nemo, or as it was called in North America, Little Nemo's Adventures in Slumberland. Yutaka Fujioka, then president of Tokyo Movie Shinsha, or TMS Entertainment, had wanted to break into the US animation market for several years. Finally making the leap, he founded a new studio called Telecom Animation Film in 1975. But it wouldn't be until 1981 that Fujioka launched the project, after having finally secured 4 billion yen to fund his dream.
What's that, like $800,000?
So, for context, 4 billion yen in 1981 is roughly 5.1 billion today when converted, which is around 33 million US dollars, which is towards the higher end of animated film budgets of the time.
Jesus.
Unfortunately, the film languished in development hell for several years. Fujioka initially approached George Lucas, who is at the height of his career with Star Wars and Indiana Jones films. After Lucas turned it down, he approached Chuck Jones, who also declined. Fujioka then approached Gary Kurtz, who'd been recommended by George Lucas, which is unsurprising considering he was a producer and assistant director for The Empire Strikes Back. I won't go into too much depth with the film's development, but overall it was a massive flop, both in Japan and US theaters, with Roger Ebert giving the film 2 out of 4 stars. It did do better when released on home video, as it was the 4th best-selling children's title of 1993, with 1.5 million copies sold. After the Japanese release, but before the US release, Little Nemo the Dream Master was released on the NES, as well as an arcade version titled Nemo, that is a wildly different game involving the same characters. But we're not done there. As I said, the history of Little Nemo went deep. Where did Fujioka get the idea to create an animated film in the first place? That dates back to 1905, where an American cartoonist named Winsor McCay created the character called Little Nemo that appeared in a comic strip, The Dream of the Rarebit Fiend. This strip received its own spin-off called Little Nemo in Slumberland. This strip ran in the New York Herald from 1905 to 1991, when the strip changed hands and was renamed under another publisher, running until 1914. Then returned to Herald in 1924, where it ran until the original title from 1924 to 1927. It was in 1977 that Fujioka flew to Monterey, California to convince the descendants of McCay to allow him to obtain the rights to Little Nemo to produce his film, ultimately culminating in a massive film failure. But from those ashes, we got Little Nemo the Dream Master on the NES, released in North America in September of 1990, Japan in December, and Europe in December of the following year. Little Nemo is a colorful 2D side-scroller where you must collect keys scattered throughout levels in order to progress. Nemo does this with the help of various animals that he encounters, that after feeding candy will lend him usage of their powers. The game was well received, though regarded as a very difficult game. It's often found to be in the top 100 NES game lists. And there you have it. That is the history of Little Nemo, the Dream Master. Let's take a break. When we come back, we're going to talk about our childhood memories.
Well, hey, okay, before I lose momentum, let's just start right back in because I gotta ask, was this really a favorite of yours as a kid?
So, my memories of playing this game as a kid. This was a favorite of mine as a childhood game. It was really special to me. The game always felt very magical. It had this very mysterious quality to it that was mostly unique, and I would have to say mostly because there were other games that had a similar feel to it. Have you guys ever played Milon's Secret Castle?
Nah, dude.
Sounds familiar.
Well, that's another really weird game that not a lot of people like. It's a very niche title, not a lot of people enjoy it. But to me, there was something special about Little Nemo that always made me pick this game off the shelf at the local rental store. I loved the idea of becoming these creatures throughout the stages and using their powers. And I'd spend an ungodly amount of time, even in that first stage, just jumping around in the frog suit. And I guess we can bring it up now. Like, how weird is it that some of the animals you ride them, like the lizard or the ape, but others you're
You
like
climb
seemingly wearing
inside.
their skin? Yeah.
Yes.
And some of them you just brain with pieces of candy and they get mad at you.
So Gibson saw me playing this game, and he's like, "Are you wearing them like a symbiote suit?" Because he's really into Venom right now, and he saw me like climb into him, and he thought it was like a symbiote thing. I was like, and I didn't even know how to describe like what was happening.
Oh,
Like,
dude, we should have played Maximum Carnage instead.
That's not a fun game. It looks
You didn't
fun.
like Maximum Carnage?
No, it looks fun.
Which one am I thinking of?
When it comes to Maximum Carnage and all that, there is the collection coming out soon that has the X-Men game that I've been dying to play for years as a way
okay.
that we can talk about it.
Which X-Men game? The
Oh, the
X2
arcade?
The
or
arcade.
the original art, like the 6-person arcade?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, let's play that.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, the second that comes out, we have to play that.
Yes.
But Little Nemo. I also talked to you guys about a film, a cartoon that came out alongside this game, and I have these vague memories of watching the cartoon when I was a child, and I thought that tying those two things together are kind of what kept me coming back to this game, despite how frustrating it was. And I even had the Nintendo Power that has a full walkthrough of the game and shows you where all the keys are and everything. And I still never beat it as a kid, but regardless of the difficulty of the game, there was a charm to it that kept me coming back to it as a child. And as we will discuss in our current playthrough, that feeling has changed.
I
Do you guys have any memories of this game? Did you ever play it
Dude, I'd
when you were
never even
younger?
heard of this title before you brought it up.
remember seeing the artwork for it, and I thought I remember playing it, but when we got back into it, yeah, I definitely never played this game as a kid. But I definitely remember seeing like the artwork for it in like magazines or something like that.
Well, here's my question. Do you remember seeing the artwork for it, or do you just have you just seen anime? Because it's literally like it's like a Studio Ghibli film when you look at the stills for the movie, especially.
Yes, yeah, maybe.
Welcome back, everybody. I hope you enjoyed that music, but maybe not because it's not so great. Overall, my opinions on this game have definitely changed since I was a child. I get that it's an early NES game, and as far as the storyline goes, it's virtually non existent without the accompanying cartoon. There's just not much there, and unless you bond to the game like I did, I can't see this game being a game that kids would want to play more than once, especially not even today. I can't imagine kids wanting to play this at all. And Chris, you said that your son thought it was more akin to Venom than like a childhood dream or something like that, where you can
Yeah, like he thought it was
ride
weird.
lizards and, dig in the ground like a mole. But the game itself is just kind of obnoxious. The respawning enemies are out of control. The key hunt itself doesn't make a lot of sense in game. As I said, the music isn't very fun. And while I don't want to just dog on it the entire time because I do have such fond memories of this game, I do think it's a visually good looking game for the time. I like the transformation aspect of the game because it gives a very Kirby like vibe to it that I still
Yes,
enjoy
very
to this
much. Yeah.
day.
I don't think there's necessarily anything terrible about the music. Maybe this is be the minority opinion. To
Yeah,
me,
I didn't hate the
it's
music.
just it's generic enough where it's forgettable, but it's just kind of this like just whimsical theme that fits very much with the color palette and with everything else they were trying to do. So I don't think there's any reason to particularly knock it. I just don't think there's anything special about it.
Well, I've spent a lot of time solely listening to just the music, trying to pick tracks for this.
Oh yeah, I mean if I locked you in a room and forced you to listen to this, you'd probably go insane.
I'm right there. That's the problem. But like we were talking about the Kirby aspect of it, some of the transformations really surprised me because I'd never gotten that far as a kid. I never beat it, despite having the Nintendo power, because it's just so hard. It's a very tough game. Well, I shouldn't say that. As an adult, like it's easier to try to juke out the respawning enemies. You kind of figure out their patterns early on, but when I was younger, I just couldn't ever do anything like that. But I got to see some of these transformations I thought were really cool, like the hermit crab or whatever it's supposed to be, but you burrow into the ground rapidly instead of the super slow movement of the mole. I thought that was really cool. Riding the mouse like a jockey, you get a little mallet. I thought that was pretty neat.
Then you become the mole man.
Yeah, I will admit, like it was different. Like the different powers you require really kind of kept it changing up enough to stay interesting. And plus, like I don't know, like what year did you say this came out? 93?
In 1990.
Okay. The fact that you did have so many powers to cycle through, basically, like it was definitely unique. Like there's no other game like that.
Well, aside from Kirby, like we just discussed, but
Right, yeah, and Kirby
Mega
came.
Man.
See, Mega Man though, like it changed your whatever weapon you were shooting out. This changed your
Oh, you
your
changed your color too?
well, it
yeah,
changed your colors,
but
but this changed your outfit, your speed, your walking speed, your jumping, if you could fly or not, if you could
Alright,
swim or
alright.
not. Yeah, like this, like there was,
You could still swim without the suit.
but it changed how you swim and everything. Like it definitely changed the parameters of what your character did.
You're a parameter.
Your mom's a parameter. Oh, I'm
Whoa!
sorry. I'm so
Ladies
sorry.
and gentlemen of
She's
the
she.
internet, did you just hear what
Oh,
Chris said about my mother?
oh, she listens to the show. She's gonna hate me.
Just
Oh,
gonna
I'm not
set
gonna
you up.
get
You're
Christmas
not.
card this
Yeah,
year.
you're not getting cookies.
Oh,
Sean,
I was just
Sean,
kidding.
Sean, bleep this. Chris, you go yourself.
I'm not bleeping it. So
On a
the
children's
game,
game, no less.
the game.
But wait. But you did mention the enemies respawning, and how that was one of the notes that I actually took for this. You guys know more about games and how they work. Was that like an
Standard, man.
option, or was that like a limitation of what the programming could do?
Very intentional planning there because otherwise if you just killed all the enemies there'd be nothing in the level, and the levels themselves are not.
Well, yeah, especially if you missed a power or like.
Yeah, that's also something that really annoyed me, was that some of the creatures that you can borrow their abilities will harm you by running into them.
Yeah.
So the whole thing, and I guess like it's one of those things that I have played this game since being a kid. It's I've had it, available for emulators and stuff, and it's always something that I kind of threw in the pack of all the games that I would have for whatever it is, if I had one of the NES minis that I'm updating, I would play it, and I guess like I would just kind of shove the thought out of my mind when I think like this is not as fun as I remember it. This is not as good as I remember it. And I just kind of ignored all that and just turn off the game and play something else and just kind of live in the nostalgia of it.
That's what I do with all those games. I play them for like 10 minutes and be like, "Oh, this was so much fun," and then I stop after 10 minutes.
But we go back and play some games that are still good.
Oh yeah.
This is not one of them.
No.
This is a game that I was excited to bring to you guys and be like, man, they're gonna get the experience Little Nemo, the Dream Master, like I did, and they're gonna talk about, oh, it's all so cool.
Oh no, this was a mistake.
This is my Jurassic Park moment, and I feel bad about exposing you guys to this because I watched the film, and again, Corey, you said it best. It's just a fever dream. It's yes, it does have this dreamlike quality. Both the game and
I mean, the game is literally about him being in dreams.
but it's so incoherent that there's no like as an adult, I want I want more structure than just a random setting with random stuff happening. And all in all, I was just really disappointed. Corey, what about you? What are your thoughts on the game? You could probably articulate it a lot better than I can about
I don't know
why
about
it's
that.
not great.
Two things. Number one, the opening scene was like if Neverland involved just like a kidnapping. Because like this, just someone just shows up at your window in the middle of the night with like a hot air balloon and was like, "I'm gonna give you candy. We're gonna go meet the princess."
Right.
And the kid's like, "No one who could give me candy's ever a bad person." And I'm like, "Kid, you miss way too many after school specials. Oh, it's 1905. You didn't know yet." So that happens. And then every level starts with you like basically going back to bed or getting up, and your parent is in the background like yelling at you like, "Why are you up? Go back to bed. Does anyone else's child behave like a psychopath like mine does? Woe is me." Which is kind of amusing. But yeah, other than that, this game is just weird, and it plays kind of mediocre in my opinion, and it doesn't really give you any sort of direction at all either, which made this incredibly difficult for the first couple of levels. So you have to gather 6 keys on every level to progress, and the first level especially, they really don't tell you anything other than the fact that like, hey, get some powers from these little friendly monsters, and they will give you abilities. And so it's like, oh, okay. And then you go out there and you try to get these abilities, and you're just guessing at random, and you don't know what does what. And then you get powers, and then there's kind of no direction what to do with them. So you get the mole man finally, for example, and you like start digging, and then you go down a floor, and then it's like, oh, okay, I can get down here, and then you find your key, and then you don't know what to do next, and then you just start digging into the wall at random, and there's a huge block of dirt to your left, and then you end up clearing out the entire block of dirt looking for a key that's not hidden behind dirt, and it wastes 5 minutes of your life, and then you end up digging down another floor thinking that you're gonna fall, because Konami does that. I don't know if you knew that, you guys. If you ever played Castlevania, if you fall in stuff, you die. So I assumed, Konami being Konami, if I fell down a floor, I would die. You don't. You just go down another floor because you're a little whimsical child, and then you find another key on that floor, and the whole level takes you like 40 minutes because you don't know what you're doing. And that's how the first like 3 levels play out until you get to the magical train, which thankfully doesn't punish you that badly. This game sucks.
This was Capcom, by the way, but I understand the sentiment.
Oh, was it Capcom? I thought this was Konami. Oh, whatever.
It was Capcom, but I get it. You're not wrong about being conditioned that anytime you go
You know what,
down,
Mega Man, when you fall in
you're
holes, you
screwed.
die too. So I don't want to hear it.
You're not wrong. I'm right there with you. What about you, Chris? What are your thoughts about playing this game today?
You're talking about the movie. Maybe I saw the movie posters or something, or the VHS for the box art or something.
That's what I'm telling you, right? Because it looks
yeah.
like a Studio Ghibli film when you just kind of look at the
Yeah,
still. It's like
so-
generic anime type of thing. Like Totoro's
Exactly.
gonna be there.
Yeah, so maybe that's what I saw as a kid and not the game itself. I don't know. But anyways, I was so excited when you suggested this and I booted it up because you know me, I like these short, easy, whimsical,
Oh, dude,
bright,
this is not short.
classic NES games. And holy crap, I hated it within 10 minutes. Oh, this game is it's hard. It is hard. And I thought like some of the animal suits that you wear feel like a downgrade compared to just being a human. And it's just a pain in the butt and not fun. And the enemies like the stupid little are they pollen that like death pollen that falls on you?
Oh my
I
god,
hate
yeah.
death pollen
They
and I'm like, oh, hopefully this will
Yeah,
only be
especially when you're the monkey and you're climbing up the
yes.
tree and you have to kind of like wait for them to come down and then move out of the way and then continue
Oh,
And I
you
climbing.
mean
thought
when
like,
you
oh,
get progenitor Donkey Kong? Is that what we're talking about?
yeah. And I thought
Yes.
maybe the pollen would just be limited to like tree areas.
It's
No,
edited
it's through the
Donkey Kong.
whole goddamn game. I mean, which I will admit, like it is nice, like the variety of levels. Like they don't really repeat a whole lot, except for the enemies themselves are
I
kind of
made Sean
repeating.
laugh.
And I talked over it. Sorry, everybody.
It's okay.
But that means he can't cut it out. It's stuck behind my very important words that I was saying.
You don't
What
know
was I
what you're-
saying?
yeah,
Oh crap!
exactly.
Now I'm
You're
off.
talking
Now I'm
about
off.
the pollen.
I'm off the train, and now he's going to cut all this out. Oh, I did like the rooftop level. I thought the background and that stage was cool.
Are you talking about Nemo's house?
No. The one after Nemo's house, where you're like on the rooftops and the clouds
The
city.
cloud ruin, yeah.
Yeah, the cloud rune. Yeah, the area like where you like you're jumping along the rooftops and then you ride the clouds up.
So the levels are Mushroom Forest, Flower Garden, House of Toys, Night Sea, Nemo's House,
That's
Cloud
the one.
Ruins, Topsy
That sucked.
Turvy, and then Nightmare Land.
Dude, yeah.
I'm gonna cut in front of you here for a second, Chris. Why is Nightmare Land as long as half the game?
Right?
Nightmare Land is brutal, and the Nightmare King is not exactly easy either. I don't know how a child is supposed to be able to play and beat this game.
And I didn't figure out like the more you charge up your staff, like you see the little power meter fill up. Does it do more damage or
I think it's supposed to.
I couldn't tell.
It's like a 3 Mississippi kind of thing.
Did both of you guys beat the game?
Yes.
Dude,
Well,
not without cheating.
yeah, I cheated.
Yeah, save states all the
Yep.
way for this
Yep.
one. That was the only way I was going to get through it.
I didn't think I was going to, and then
And watched a guy play it so I could figure out where the key locations all were. Because I was getting tired of this game by like the 3rd level, dude.
Oh, I own the Nintendo Power for it, so I just went back to that.
when you assigned this game and I saw how like it was a short game because like normally one thing I do when we get new games I see how long like I need to invest in this like how long is this game going to take for me and I saw it was a fairly short game I was like okay I'm going to try to get through this one without any save states and I quit that as soon as I got past the first level like oh my god.
Oh, you sweet summer child.
All right, guys, so I think that's our thoughts for the modern day playthrough. Let's take a quick break and we'll come back and we'll give our final thoughts.
No, guys, it was just bad. It was just it, like it just, especially because when you start it and it like, other than the really I'm used to kind of bad translations too, so I really wasn't expecting much from the story when Nemo gets kidnapped by a fey creature, but like the story happens and it's kind of bad, and then I'm watching it and I'm like, okay, well, let's try the gameplay, and then you get into the gameplay and it doesn't look terrible. And then you start playing, and it's like, God, this is garbage.
Yeah.
You get 5 minutes in, and it just starts feeling real bad.
Chris, what are your final thoughts on Little Nemo, the Dream Master?
Burn it. Just trash it. Burn it. I'm not going to recommend this to anybody.
That's harsh, but I get it. I do get it. For me, Little Nemo, the Dream Master was a game that held a special place in my heart for a long, long time. And it wasn't ever a game that I really came back to for any length of time, like we discussed earlier, but now having played through its entirety and really sitting back and considering what makes this game, or any game for that matter, good or bad, I came to the conclusion that it was a good idea, but it needed to have more than that. It needed a strong base, like adding real combat or making exploration more fun or more interesting or more worthwhile. Just finding the keys to unlock a door, that's not enough.
Or just not so goddamn tedious.
That was one interesting mechanic that made you explore every inch of the map. So as far as like trying to like force replayability in the game, maybe the keys thing was literally making you explore every corner of this map, and I didn't appreciate that.
And that aspect of it, it's the, hey, you can turn into these animals. Isn't that fun? Because it's not for very long anyway.
What's crazy is, okay, so if you look at a game like Sonic the Hedgehog, Sonic the Hedgehog has very big levels, and they're really pretty, and they're well designed. And guess what? For the most part, you don't even look at them because you're going Mach 2. But the thing is when you take time to stop and look at them, like, there's all sorts of little hidden secrets. There's extra lives in the wall. There are like little power-ups, the Chaos Emeralds, all sorts of like little things like that make it like worthwhile for you to stop and look around, right? So you can play Sonic in two ways. You can go real fast, which is the way God intended, or you can be a big nerd and look at all the work they did on the level and get rewarded for that. In this game, you have to look at every stupid inch of the game, and you're still punished because what you're looking for isn't there.
You get louder and louder, so your sentences get longer.
Little Nemo. Little Nemo is a game about dreaming. It's a game about a child dreaming and quite possibly having a fever dream that involves a lot of psychedelic imagery. And as an adult, kids, if you're listening to this at home, if you want to experience such a thing, just
Cory, I can't have
Don't
that.
do
I
that.
can't have that.
Yeah.
I gotta
No,
get rid of
don't.
that. I gotta bleep out that entire thing.
Yep.
that's why just bleep that portion and keep the rest in.
I'm going to. I will. So, any other thoughts on it, Cory?
No.
Well, that all said, guys, I understand it wasn't great, but thank you so much for taking the time to play it. Everybody out there, I'm sorry for having to listen to this. This is our most disjointed. This episode was a fever dream. None of it really makes sense. As you're listening to it, realize that everything that you are hearing has been cobbled together like Frankenstein's monster. As I'm putting things in various orders to try and make it make sense, much like this game, it doesn't make sense at all.
And quite honestly, we're not sure if we're here.
But hopefully, our next game is going to be something that we can all enjoy, that we can really sink our teeth into and talk about, and not have these little moments where we have outbursts of rage. And that game is going to be Rampage World Tour for the N64 and the PlayStation 1. And we're going to discuss the Rampage series as a whole.
We will have outbursts of rage, but it'll be for the right reasons because you're supposed to knock down buildings.
That's fair. So Chris, Cory, thank you both so much for this. Everybody out there, thank you. We've been Superannuated Starman.